Welcome to Motherfunkler. Greetings to all our fellow Funklers.
The Edless Motherfunklers.
Downtown Trevor Brown reporting for duty. Here as always, DJ Danger Powers.
Austin Powers.
No, Danger is his middle name.
DJ Austin Danger Powers. Showtime Sadul, the legal eagle. The Wizard of Ed is not here today.
You're going to have to start. Here as always can only be me and PR.
Right. Well, I think that's kind of what I'm...
Yeah, fair enough.
And the Intuitive Muse is running the show.
Yep.
Because the Wizard is
Out
missing
casting
in action.
spells on random, poor, unexpected women.
How you guys been?
Is he in love again?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's in love. I met her. She's pretty rad, I think. I thought she was cool.
When he falls in love, he can just fucking leave.
He falls in lust.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I remember that shit, man. That shit is tough. When you're fucking single, especially if it's been a minute, and like all of a sudden you're like...
You're back on your game?
But you got to always remember, chill the fuck out. Like, you don't know this person barely at all.
Yeah.
You need to chill out and like let it...
You don't need to run on every phone call.
Right.
Absolutely not. I never do that.
It looks cooler if you kind of like pace yourself.
Listen, I'm busy. I've got shit to do.
I've got
on
a
Sunday.
podcast to go record.
Yeah.
I always remember...
I've got the number 3 podcast last year to go record, and we're shooting for number 1 this year.
Exactly.
We are.
No, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, I was like, and then the only person that knew that he actually was leaving was Amanda. The rest of us.
I just saw him when we were walking out, and I was giving him shit.
Isn't it like a problem if you keep if you keep your alcoholism a secret, that means it's really bad. So if you keep your
Yes.
No, come on.
if you keep your departure to go see a chick secret, that means it's a really bad thing.
I think so.
Yeah.
I remember a distinct moment. There was this girl that I really, really was into, and we hooked up after meeting up at the lodge. And the next day, I wasn't really paying attention. She never texted or called. I didn't do the same. A couple days go by, and I was like, I want to, and I go, you know what?
No.
Here are the two options you've got right now. Either you text her, and try and get back in, which will almost inevitably mean you never hook up again, or you completely ignore her and you'll probably never hook up again, but the chance is still there of a random bump in, right? And I randomly bumped into her a couple of years later and hooked up with her again. And I was always like, from now on, it's even when you want to so fucking bad, it's better than the alternative. You just fucking let it just simmer, let it cook. There's no reason to leave your over 100 episode podcast that you're the producer of.
I don't know from personal experience. I've always just done what I want when I want and haven't applied any like outward rules. But I was watching something that made a joke about Pete Davidson and all the extremely wealthy, beautiful women that he's hooked up with. And then the joke was that they did a real quick video excerpt of him actually saying, I don't know, I always just text back really fast. He's like, that's it.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with being, not aggressively prompt, but like just honest, like instead of intentionally holding off.
He's not a good example.
Okay.
If you're a fucking filthy rich comedian on TV, texting back is going to help you. If you're a normal guy that the only way you're differentiating yourself from the hordes of men trying to fuck that girl is by being cool and being yourself, that takes time for somebody to analyze. That is not conducive to the immediate text back and the desperation. If you're filthy rich on TV, famous,
text back immediately.
You look like you're dying of terminal cancer, like Pete Davidson does. Like if you mix all that together, you text back immediately, it's probably well received. But for us normal people, it's I recommend against it. I definitely recommend, like, think about the thought going through her head now. That means that she knows he's thrown down the gauntlet and left this fucking podcast that he's recorded over 100 episodes to go hang out with her. Like, now the dynamics changed.
The dynamics have changed. Yep, absolutely.
Even if he really wanted to be there, he should have been like, this is an obligation. Let's meet up right after. Like, whatever you want to do, but I have to be there for this. and go do it, because that it says something about you. I don't know.
He has also left the show on occasion to go and pick somebody up from the airport as well.
It was a chick that he was
Yeah.
in love with.
Didn't she ultimately tell him that he had to be a billionaire before the age of 40? Is
Yeah.
that the same one?
That's one.
See, those are conversations that should be had before you dedicate yourself to picking them up from the airport.
Exactly.
Because that seems pretty on the surface if she's not willing to be with somebody who is not going to be a billionaire before they're 40. And Ed's in his late 30s, so he doesn't have much time left to get that first billion. I've heard the first billion is the hardest, though, to get.
You've heard that.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, but once you get the billion,
I mean,
the second is a bit easier.
billion's easy. Easy breezy.
Well, I'd like to test that theory.
Yeah, it'd be a good. I would enjoy testing that theory. It'd be fun. Yeah.
I want to explore in some previous recordings, I have said discipline is freedom, and I believe that I've caught a little flack from Showtime Sadul, and it's been on my mind a lot in the last week, month, 4 months, and want to dive into it just for fun. I really don't have an agenda. Usually I think when I submit to the group that I somewhat already have my mind made up, but on this one I am pretty gray. But the idea is that I'm boiling it down to understand my experience without much. Everything that I've put myself through on this one, I really haven't had any more clarity than, and I'm hoping for more. The concept is that discipline creates freedom. So I know that it's in anything that I've explored, there are the extremes, and the extremes are not good. And there's always a happy medium, and that can be a gray area, kind of narrowed down to a fine line for each unique individual, I suppose. And you have to define that line or the gray area for yourself. Anyway, what is your guys' definition of freedom? That's pretty broad. That's heavy.
I mean, I don't know. When you say freedom, you just mean I
want to know what you think
there's
about.
No such, in my opinion, there's no such thing as true and unfettered, unadulterated freedom. Like it doesn't exist. Like, and that by that sense, meaning you could literally do anything you want at any time, no matter what. Even crazy rich people can't do whatever they want to do whenever they want to.
It's not my. I want to know what your idea of freedom is, and not preface it with what I think it is.
I would say just on the spectrum, having more agency and control over what happens in my life than not having control. So I guess of the aspects of my life, I have more control than the aspects for which I don't have control. But there are so many aspects I don't have control over. Like I'm doing well. I can do a lot of what I want to do, but I can't do literally what I want to do. Like literally what I want to do is fucking not be in Florida for 4 months out of the year because it's so disgusting and fucking hot and gross here. And I can't do that. I can't just fucking leave. It's not just money. It's the, the responsibilities and shit that I have that tie me down. So those responsibilities come with the obligations that don't give me the freedom to do what I want to do. But those obligations also give me the freedom in certain aspects to do things that I want to do. Like my responsibilities towards College Park Jazz Fest, responsibility towards Hannibal Square, responsibility towards trivia, responsibility towards my office, my jury selection business. Like those are things that they have rules. I can't just leave because I have to be here Mondays to pick juries, which is a fucking rule I can't violate.
You can't just leave and go pick up a chick from the airport?
No. I couldn't just say, hey, you guys, pick your own fucking jury. I got to pick up some girl. I know her first name. I don't even know her last name at the airport. No,
yeah.
that wouldn't work. But you see what I'm saying? So when you talk about freedom, there is no fucking, I don't think it exists, because even super rich people, like, you have the things that bring you joy also bring you obligation. And from obligation comes the inability to be free to do anything you want whenever you want to do. So really, to me, to have your freedom is to have more freedom than obligation. And then the more you get, the more free you are.
That's the direction I'm going with this. I don't really remember the first time that I mentioned discipline as freedom, but exactly with what you're throwing out there is, so you have these obligations. I feel that discipline, at least in the way that I'm imagining discipline, makes those obligations more efficient, and then therefore you have more opportunity for your variation of freedom.
I think that's where we differed. I think that's where we still differ.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
And that's why I said, looking at it now, that's why I'm saying, to me, it's the definition of having more freedom than obligation. When you start talking about discipline as freedom, a life with just obligation and discipline and regiment, to me, has now crossed that threshold of, there are more obligations and discipline in my life than things that I can choose and have agency or control over. And that's why I say, no, I don't think discipline is freedom. I think you need discipline and sacrifice and routine. Like, you need that to bring you net gain happiness, because, you got to fucking brush your teeth. That's, I have the freedom to not brush my teeth if I don't want to, but then my fucking teeth are going to fall out of my head. So I got to brush my teeth. But the brushing of the teeth discipline to do that every day gives me the happiness of having a good smile longer. Sure. So, yes, you need some of it. But when you make a blanket statement like discipline is freedom, I think discipline is a component of a life that can bring you freedom and happiness. But discipline is not freedom. That is like doublespeak 1984 shit. That's like, discipline is, you are free because you don't have, that's like saying you're free because you don't have to make any of your own choices. Your life is so disciplined that it's all taken care of for you. It's like my brother's life is so, we were talking about that off mic, is so regimented and so determined by everybody else. I do think he probably feels pretty good about his life because he doesn't have to make any choices, but that's not fucking freedom to me. You're asking me my definition.
What do you think?
So
freedom is?
I think there's a lot there, and listening to Nick talking about it, giving me some ideas. I think that at the very kind of the highest level for me, at the highest level for me,
they said pious.
No, the highest level for me, I think that freedom and discipline would be at opposite ends of the spectrum at the highest level. And the reason for that is freedom suggests that I have the ability to independently make my own decisions on whatever the hell I want to. So that's kind of the extreme end of what it means to be free. But we know that is really not there's no such concept as having unconstrained ability to just do whatever the hell you want, right? I think on the other extreme end of discipline and sacrifice, I then think about, if depending on how you see discipline. For example, I think the discipline and the sacrifice that I have of making sure that I get up at a certain time, I'm in the office reliably at a certain time, the lights are on, the AC is on, clients know they can phone me between this time and that time. That means I am now reliable because of my discipline. Mm-hmm. And as a result of me being reliable, they give me their business. I am successful, and that success allows me to be independent, which gives me a level of freedom to be able to do things. I can go and see Nick for coffee anytime during the day if I want to. Now, if I didn't want to be reliable and have my office and be disciplined or make those sacrifices, then I may have to do an office job or a factory job, which doesn't give me as much freedom. And I'm now having somebody else discipline me, to say you will clock in at 8 o'clock and you will clock out at 5 o'clock and you only take lunch at 45 minutes and it'll only be at between 11 and 11:45. Then all of a sudden, I didn't want to be my own captain of my ship. I chose to be irresponsible, and then somebody else is going to impose all their rules on me. So my sense is that I think that it's almost this concept of delayed gratification, right? If you choose to want to just be always enjoy something immediately, your immediate gratification, you will be sacrificing in the long run. So if you, for example, choose to study hard at school, go to college, make those sacrifices, you will enjoy the benefits of those sacrifices because you've chosen to be disciplined, you've made sacrifices. However, on the other end of the spectrum, you could have chosen to just be a slacker at school, not past high school, and then, go and find a shitty job, make, really lousy money. I'm giving you the stereotypes. Obviously, there are exceptions, but you make lousy money, and then you work for some ass who kind of, hits you over the head on a regular basis. So I'm going with the idea of delayed gratification, which you may suggest is discipline. I don't agree, though. I think there's extreme forms of discipline where then that is, and that's why I say, if you look at it at the highest level, extreme form discipline is at the opposite end of the spectrum of freedom. That is not free. So I do get up and, I do want to be at the office at 9 a.m. But there are days when I don't get to the office at 9 a.m. There's somebody else there. I've chosen that I'm going to go for a meeting or I'm going to do other stuff. I'm going to go for coffee.
That's an idea I think of. I've long thought of. I call it cone of freedom. I guess space of freedom. Cone. So like you build your life and you build in safeguards and you create more space for you to do whatever, quote unquote, whatever you want. But you still have barriers. You still have side rails, like guideposts that you can't go beyond. I can go to the gym. Linda and I talk about it. It's so great because I can go to the gym at noon and fucking work out and come back to the office. People with normal jobs, with a normal boss, can't do that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's a great freedom that I have. Now, if I left for 3 hours every day to go to the gym in the middle of the day, my business would suffer. It would undermine my authority with my employees and my business. And that is kind of a guide rail where I have to be able to independently find how much of this freedom I have inside of there. So yes. It is a freedom it is restrained. It's not something that I can forever do. People who have created more for themselves through, what invention, business ideas, whatever they've done, luck, winning the lottery, fucking whatever it is, that have created more of can do more, are more free than I am to make these decisions, but they're still going to have these guideposts. You know what I'm saying? Like if that person makes the choice to be in a committed relationship, that takes away their ability, presumably, to go around fucking whoever they want to do, which is which would be whatever I want to do. But yes, if you want to be with this person, you can't also have sex with this person, which is a restriction. Yeah. And it takes discipline to go through have a partner and to not have an affair on that partner. So discipline's forever existing. But I do think you can't go too far, as PR is saying, into the realm of discipline. If you make your life nothing but discipline, i.e. what you said, freedom is discipline or discipline is freedom, you're now going the opposite direction. You're taking away anything that gives you the ability to have free will.
Are you suggesting, Trevor, are you with the mindset that discipline is freedom? You suggesting that?
Yeah. Just to be transparent, in my notes coming into this, the idea was to explore the gray area of, yes, discipline is freedom, but then at what point does discipline become a trap? And
okay, so kind of on the same page.
Then to understand, I suppose the opposite of, I don't really know at the other end of the spectrum, but lack of discipline, seemingly with immediate gratification, although seems free at the time, really isn't, because of, in what you said, I feel that if you don't create your own discipline, somebody or life is going to create it for you, and that is typically more uncomfortable and shittier than if you create your own set of standards for yourself and push forward the way that you want to.
And
so I think total freedom, at least, and I really haven't defined what I imagine freedom is. I don't think I can come up with a definition of what I think freedom is. That's what I'm discovering. But total freedom is actually chaos, and chaos is not good.
Totally agree with that.
Like, that's just not like, if it was run amok, there's a word that you use often. I can't, what's it called when you go to a party a week, you want to go on a yacht trip that there are no rules.
Hedonism?
Hedonism. If you get into that sort of stuff, not just a night or a weekend, but like permanent, full society culture hedonism, like, it's just not.
It would all fall apart.
It's just not. So discipline is part of it. At what point is pushing discipline to an extreme not good and a trap? So the application then is, I just came out of extreme discipline to understand my boundaries of where did freedom get compromised, so that moving forward, I know to ride the line more delicately and artistically into how much discipline do I need to apply to have a long, fulfilling life with the most amount of freedom as possible.
The challenge, though, if you have the level of discipline that you've had for that extended period of time, there's an argument that you actually lose your appreciation for certain freedoms.
Yeah.
So, it's like, there's a theory that if you there are certain people that are spenders and there are certain people that save their money, right? And it's very difficult to thread the needle between being good at spending and good at saving, right? So very often you have people that say, no, I'm gonna save for as long as I can, and when I retire and I get to this magical age, and then I'm gonna be the one that starts to spend. The reality is that what the theory has shown is that those people that choose to save all their life just have no ability to then enjoy the finer things in life, and that is to start spending.
I'm coming to this realization, at least for me personally, that. So let me backtrack a little bit.
So we're going to go to you and the discipline, the fact that my hypothesis is that you have lost the ability.
And I agree with you, bro. I'm a fucking spender, and it took me.
I often through my life have, in a hippy dippy way, compared what I'm going through to nature. And let me explain that a little bit more. That, like, I watched an old movie. Have you ever seen The Power of One?
No.
It's Steven Dorff. It's a really great movie. It's very long.
There's of One?
The Power of One. It goes through 3 stages of his life. There's 3 different actors playing the main character through his life. And at the kind of pinnacle moment, a African witch doctor advises him at some point that the answer is always in nature, and this has stuck with me. And I think that for me it's true, because we do come from this earth, and then therefore nature. In the movie, he's trying to figure out how to overcome this issue, and so he goes out at the very end of the movie. He goes out into nature to get nature advice, and he observes a stream becoming a river, becoming a waterfall, and the power of this massive African waterfall. Then the idea is applied to his life, where he needs to virtually create a waterfall of energy and people this is like post-apartheid, and it's yet another movie like Last of the Mohicans or Last Samurai, where the great white man saves some subculture, which is shitty, but that's what it was, right?
Yeah.
So Morgan Freeman's in this anyway. He rallies the troops that are being suppressed, and it wasn't about getting a shit ton of people at once to overtake what they needed to do. It was about one person at a time. So they ended up teaching one person at a time how to read, and then those people taught 2 people and 4 people and so on and so forth. So my point is, in your exploration, I have really recently been accepting seasons. I have looked to nature. Nature has seasons. Weather has seasons. There's weather there's 5, 10, 20-year weather cycles of hot and cold. There's ice ages. There's whatever I want to say, global warming without saying global warming, but there's a time to expand and contract in my life, where there's a time to save money and then there's a time to spend it. And it doesn't have to be an on or off switch.
Isn't there a song, like a classic rock song that I'm thinking of here, that's like there's a time to save?
I think it's called Seasons by yeah.
Okay.
And it's an old hippie
It's in
song.
like fucking Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
All right.
So with discipline, I do think I go through seasons, and it's okay to not be binary on it and have and set a rule for the rest of your life that I am going to be disciplined, but there is an appropriate time to apply and say, for the next month, I have this project coming up. I'm going to be disciplined and not be free. I'm gonna sacrifice, like going to college, so that on the other end of it, I'm affording myself more freedom and opportunity.
But what about the idea that there's a period when your discipline becomes a habit?
Well, that's
my hypothesis is that your discipline, because it's been over such an extended period, has now become a habit.
Well, here's what I know as of this morning. I did a lot of processing, I suppose, while I slept, subconscious processing while I slept last night, and then a lot of information this morning. I pushed to the point of extreme discipline, crossing the threshold of pain and mental anguish, so that now I can pull back, and the rest of life, I understand my threshold, my boundaries, and then I understand where I want to exist. The direct textbook explanation would be, I know how many ounces of banana I need to have in my breakfast every single day to be perfect. And I know that I don't want to measure 9 ounces of banana every single fucking morning. I do know that I can ballpark 1 banana and go from there. So instead of getting out a scale and measuring my macros and putting it in a spreadsheet and understanding perfection, which is extreme discipline and therefore a prison, I do know better what I need.
It's like Kenny Loggins, dude. Highway to the danger zone. You never know how far you can go unless you take it into the red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I have a plan moving forward that is an extremely loose diet. It's not extremely loose. For me, it will be extremely loose.
Yeah. I don't think it'd be loose for us.
With options, but the whole point is freedom with longevity. I feel like I'm focused on mental efficiency, which creates more faster problem solving currently, so that I can have more freedom at the end of the day. If I can solve if a business issue arises, I am more equipped to solve faster, therefore leaving me time to go to the gym in the middle of the day.
Well, let me talk to you about then try and mush together what PR was saying and what you've been saying. So PR was saying that, and he was drawing the distinction between savers and spenders, which I can relate to that. I'm definitely a fucking spender and always was, and had to like learn overwhelmingly, and it's a constant struggle to always make sure there's more coming in than going out. And there's people like fucking Buffett, who's famous for and he's old as shit now, and he's still fucking frugal to the point where he's out of control.
Yeah.
So my question is, mushing these ideas together, do you think you like learned through this process? I guess better question. Are you afraid that it becomes such a habit that you start to miss the forest through the trees, that you are so focused on the discipline of it that you're not allowing yourself to enjoy?
I think that,
because I can tell you, talking to you yesterday, there are a couple of moments where I saw like old Trevor. Like when we had a conversation yesterday in that lobby, it was fucking the old veneer was back for a second, where you're like, I want to be fucking normal again. And I could see that you fucking missed some.
There's a new normal though.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the argument.
That's where I'm going with
the habit becomes, the discipline becomes so ingrained into you that it becomes a habit. And I mean, we've talked about it.
I would like to say, I don't know if it's synonymous in my mind. It's not habit. It's easier second nature.
Well, you lose your taste. So, for example, we would go on a Tuesday to Twin Peaks and have a hamburger.
A Titty Tuesday.
Titty Tuesday, right? But I bet you now, for all the money in the world, if Nick and I said to you, let's go and do Twin Peaks, you may come with us, but you're not going to find anything appetizing on that menu because you've lost your palate when it comes to that kind of food.
I haven't lost my palate. Yeah, I have lost my palate when it comes to that food, but I don't think in the sense that you're referring to. I don't want to waste my time with that food because I'm looking towards different goals and outcomes that don't align with that anymore. Mm-hmm. One of which being, through this experience, I have understood that I had constant stressor from going to restaurants, paying money for mediocre meals. Like, I was on this constant foodie search for this next best thing, and it was never satisfied or appeased. And it was fun to run through and do all the different restaurants and be a quote unquote foodie, but it caused me more stress to keep up in the bar. And I have really honestly come to find out that, like, I love cooking at home. I like my steak cooked. I know exactly what to go get at the store. It's less expensive than going to a ritzy steakhouse. It is more fulfilling to take the time of putting it on the grill and knowing that I did it, and then to have it perfectly cooked every single time is amazing to me now. To go to Twin Peaks and get fried chicken tenders, because it's really just bar food, right? It's
yeah. I mean, you're not going to Twin Peaks to satisfy your fucking foodie urges. You're going to Twin Peaks to eat sloppy food and a bonding exercise with your friends,
to hang out.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens with the saver mentality. You say to yourself, I'm going to save until a time when I want to spend. Good idea, doesn't work in theory. It just absolutely doesn't work in theory. Not many people have been able to do both. And my hypothesis, you proving my hypothesis, that with the discipline that you've chosen, and it's a great discipline, I'm not knocking it. I'm saying that it's hard to then straddle because you've lost the appeal of, I mean, I find the idea of going out and trying different restaurants to be very appealing. There are times when I'm not going to enjoy the meal. It's part of the journey.
I agree. The journey for that particular example. But what where I'm drawing distinction between the two of you guys' argument, though, is that I do think when you say straddle, that's in your opinion, and you know you and what makes you happy. Trevor has readjusted his threshold, and it like the same way, Warren Buffett's a fucking smart guy. He had probably realized a long time ago, this is what makes him happy. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't want to spend it. He doesn't care. Collecting it is what he enjoys. Fucking more power to him. If that's really, so when you say straddle, that's a personal decision that you got to make. I'm just introducing ideas to you because of like the quick conversation we had yesterday, that I'm just saying to me that within your inner self, you're making sure that you're straddling it to your happiness. Tastes change.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I've recalibrated the norm for me.
Like Coca-Cola Classic, dude, I drank it by the fucking liter when I was in law school. And then when I needed to lose weight, I quit drinking all soda. Now, just this much Coca-Cola is so fucking sweet in my mouth. Like, I can barely take it. And you get your senses dull as you get older. They don't get stronger. So think about how sugary that shit was, and I was used to it. I've recalibrated my life. Something that used to really make me happy is something that's very, very small part of my life now. Like, I'm talking single-digit ounces every 6 months. But it's still something that's there, and I'm like, oh, it's good when I have it. But that's a decision that I made where I'm straddling it in a different way than I was doing it. A very simple example to say. But I think the only real way to make this argument is it has to be a very subjective personal decision. That whatever Trevor's straddling between discipline and choosing to live his life is what's making him happy. Leading into his next point of seasons and of parts of his life that change. There's definitely things that are going to make him happy now that are going to be totally different than when he's fucking 65. And they're totally different than when he was 25. You know what I'm saying? So mixing that all together, I guess I could say we look at it, and yes, it's a weird, when you say straddling, it's not the way I'd straddle. I'm interested in longevity. I'm interested in looking young for a long period of time. But my straddle does not come with stopping drinking alcohol other than in January and June. My straddle does not come with it comes with limitations to my diet. I don't eat like I did when I was 20. I used to eat fucking steak and shake and shit all the time, but I wouldn't gain weight. I was still in good shape. Not the same anymore. Now I have to make those choices. So I guess really what I'm saying is, as long as you're being true to yourself when you're making these decisions, I think there's not really any downside to it. I think that's where you're going.
So I think structure is synonymous with discipline. And at least for me at this point, to understand the amount of structure and discipline that I can handle and then back off of it,
I think I could more agree with the statement structure is freedom than I could with discipline is freedom.
What's the difference?
Structure implies a guideline, while discipline implies a rule. I think you need to set your life up with some sort of guiding principle and guideline or structure, and then live by that. That gives you more freedom to make mistakes, to go to restaurants that aren't as good, which then makes you enjoy the ones that you go to that are better. That goes back to what I was saying with like a cone of freedom. When you talk about a structure, if I'm building a structure, I'm building the outside of it. And in the inside, shit can move and be fluid.
Well, that's what I'm
Discipline's like, I'm going to bed at fucking 6:05 every day. I'm eating 2 ounces of chicken breast, 3 ounces of quinoa, 2 asparagus spears every day. Like, that doesn't give you any fucking freedom to change or to grow. Structure does.
The point in the extreme discipline was to push to my human capability intentionally to move the goalpost on where I felt was being mediocre into another realm, so that I think the extreme discipline is on the high end of structure.
Okay.
Now that I have an And now I've generated a tighter variation of structure.
Maybe the extreme discipline you went through is the foundation of the structure, and now you've got a stronger structure set up on the bedrock of what you went through.
Yes. And so like the things that I thought were overly difficult are now just background noise. And that was the point of pushing to the extreme, is to take the things that were seemingly really uncomfortable and making them like mundane.
All right.
But can we also, I mean, my view would be that discipline is relative. So your view, you've got a set of disciplines that you put in place, and in order to do that, you've created a structure to be able to have that. Nick has his disciplines, and I'd say that all three of us are very disciplined, and that's why we continue to live the lives that we do, to be able to have the freedoms that we've earned, and the way we live our lives. So my sense is that to you, for example, my life may be very unstructured, and therefore and maybe with very little discipline. To my wife, though, she finds my life to be very disciplined.
Sure.
And I think that is the kind of,
I think just to have fun, I think your life is pretty structured. I think that and just to be honest, I think your diet is unstructured compared to mine. Mm-hmm. But I know that you get your car washed every day. That's fucking structure.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't get my car washed every day. I get it once a week now. But I do see, like, you're early for your 15 minutes.
Every 2 weeks.
You're 15 minutes early for meetings. You're always in a suit jacket. You virtually have a uniform. That's structure.
Yeah. The discipline that I have.
You carry around a fucking notepad, and like in the aspects that I see that you are structured, I am not structured.
Yeah. So I'd agree, and I think that, for example, on the food side, right, that's very interesting, because my wife thinks that my food habits are very regimented and very disciplined. Interesting, but I understand that, because your food is at a whole different level.
Your food habits have changed lately.
Yes, but it's always been, even before that. Back when you were out partying, we were almost never ate to the same places, because I'm very selective as to where I eat, and most times if I go out and have a drink, I'm not going to eat, and I end up eating at home. So most times I eat at home, other than the nights that we go out once a week, for example.
What systems or routines have improved your life the most?
So I think that the decisions that I've made around, firstly, the time I get up in the morning and the time I go to bed.
Okay.
That has really helped me frame the rest of my day. So I think that is for me the first. So I have some structure around
every day.
Every day.
No exceptions.
No exceptions. So the structure that I have around Monday to Sunday, up at 5 and go to bed probably between 10 and 10:30. That's kind of, so even when I'm on vacation, for example, I find it very difficult to actually stay up post that time. I'm kind of, my system starts to break down almost. It's like I have this internal combustion. It's just like I can't stay up, right? Which is the downside of having the structure and making it like the way you live.
But the structure gives you freedom during the day.
Yeah. So I can do whatever I need to do during the day. So the structure is, the waking up really does help.
So really, real quick, really what you guys are saying is, if I refer to my concept as structure, you're okay with that. If I say discipline,
it's more than semantics.
You're like, fuck that.
It's more than semantics. Me knowing you, at least the way I think I know you, the word you say, discipline, and what you put behind that, to me, is different than the word structure.
I don't, in all honesty, I don't use the word discipline. It's what you guys have said multiple times that I'm trying to.
You said discipline is freedom.
Right, but it was based on you guys starting to talk about my discipline. I don't really think or associate discipline with what I'm doing. I'm just doing what I think is right.
I think that a certain level of structure does create freedom. Like I am freer to do what I want to do because the shit that I need to do is done
right
in an order that needs to be done.
Right.
So then it creates my ability to go do what the fuck I want, and it gives me the more structure and the more setup you are, the more freedom it gives you to fuck up, which is something that I strongly need. I need the ability to feel as though I can make a decision, and if I fuck it up, it's the whole house of cards isn't going to come crumbling down.
Right.
You build contingencies, which is part of your structure. So, that's where I think I am on it. If I know the one thing, if you're talking, when you ask PR, the one thing that structure that changed his life, are you talking ever? Are you talking like recent?
Something quick.
I mean, quick, I can tell you. Becoming a state attorney, you got paid on the first of the month for the whole month. Changed my fucking life. Like, to where I had to actually learn how to, this was, 15 years ago. I had to actually learn how to fucking budget and to generate a surplus of income so that you can continue to build something in the future. Off the top of my head, when you talk about something that created structure for me that has lasted for the rest of my life, going through a period of 3 years where I only got fucking paid once, that was your month and that's it, and not even that much money, created my necessity to go find trivia. So I'd had a second job so I could make enough fucking money to survive. So, I mean, that was something for me that really created some structure that I still live by.
What areas of your life become chaotic when structure disappears?
So the nature of my fucking business does create times where it's chaotic. So what I've done, where it can go from, the nature of my business is you make fucking a year's salary in a month and then it's 3 months of fucking nothing. So what happens, what I've learned through going through that shock a couple of times is to build contingency after contingency after contingency. And then you're not surprised when it comes. Like, really, you only start to panic if you get into your deep contingencies there. So that is something that I've had to deal with since opening my own firm 10 years ago. Actually, 10 years ago this month. It's June, right? Shit.
Congrats.
Yeah. June 2016, I opened my law firm. So over the last 10 years, that, is something that was chaos to me, trying to only survive on what you create. And then building such a background, such a backstop that you're safe through the shitty months. So, to answer your question.
Well, I have a shit ton more thoughts on this, but I'm processing, man. And I appreciate your guys' insight as always. It'll be this isn't over. No, but it'll never. This one won't ever be.
No,
this one's going to be redefined.
But you can relate this
on a daily basis
in future podcasts. We can relate shit that goes on in our lives. I mean, there will be odd shit that happens where you get knocked off your kilter.
I believe in. I think that I've identified at least today that if I talk to you guys about structure, which really is discipline for me, I got more information quickly about the structure concept, which I'm meaning the same thing. And I think the entire conversation could have been reworked faster if I used the word structure.
I'm going to disagree, though. I think that structure is so you have an idea as to what you want to achieve. And then in order for you to be able to achieve what your outcome is, you put a structure in place. The structure then gives you certain required disciplines, and then the structure also gives you certain freedoms. I don't see discipline as the same as structure. I'm seeing the structure as your plan to say this is the framework within which I'm going to operate within. Within that framework, I have freedoms and I have disciplines or sacrifices that I'm going to make. So that's the structure, and you can decide after a period of time that you want to change your structure because you have different ambitions and you have different aspirations.
The changing of the structure requires discipline.
And then, it may require change of discipline.
Right.
And so, but you create the new structure and you say, okay, what are the disciplines that I need in order to be able to achieve my goal? But it gives me certain freedoms as well.
So what I intentionally did was wanted to change and redefine my structure.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do it in such a quick, efficient manner that I applied my potential for extreme discipline
Yes.
to the process to figure it out faster.
Yes.
And that's commendable.
And to understand the extreme of which I wanted my structure, my new future structure to exist, or not necessarily extreme, but how extreme or how loose I wanted the structure to be. And through my experience, I have completely redefined what my new normal is. My new structure is different. And because of the extreme discipline, the difficulty or the leveling up of my structure might seem hard to somebody else, but now that I've pushed to my limits, my new structure is loose for me. But I feel like that puts me in a better place for the goals that I look for, like longevity. I'm ahead. It'll be less, because I did push to the extreme, it'll be less stressful to hold my new baseline than if I didn't push to the extreme. And that was the point of the project and the exploration.
We all do that all the time.
Which is the season.
Mm-hmm.
The season switched is I needed to redefine for this second half of life, that's what my kind of idea was. And I don't know, mission accomplished.
We all do it. We're going. I take 2 months off. That's discipline because I'm reframing myself, making sure I never go over the precipice into full-blown alcoholism. People fucking do diets. People train for marathons. People train for bodybuilding competitions. People go back to school. People decide they're. A friend of mine just got out of a marriage and she's deciding to take months off of like no socio-romantic relationships of any kind to take a stock in who she is and rebuild her structure. I mean, I think that's a normal and healthy way to do it. So
I thought it was fun to push to the extreme on this. I cried. My hormones bottomed out so much one day that I cried for no reason a couple of times. And it was kind of fun to understand what I was putting in my body, or the lack of what I was putting in my body, to see how my body responded with chemicals and what I really don't need.
And I can say something that I won't be able to say pretty soon, which is you have drank alcohol more recently than I have, which is fucking rad.
How do you know that?
I know you had 2 glasses of wine and a shot.
How do you know that?
Yeah, baby. Because I was at a bodybuilding competition you're competing in yesterday.
Interesting.
So I didn't know that.
Did
you go and have some wine and champagne and didn't tell me about it?
It was 2 glasses of wine and 2 ounces of vodka in your coffee, right?
Yeah.
See? I haven't had a drop of alcohol since May, you sinner.
Oh, you had the combination, though? You had wine and vodka?
It's to dehydrate him. It had nothing to do with fucking alcohol. It sucks the fucking water out of your body so that your muscles can your coach might have told me when I was bullshitting with him.
Really?
I think so. I can't remember who told me, but I think it might have been your coach. Either way, because
I was trying to keep that quiet because I didn't want it to turn into I didn't want to say it before I did it so that I wasn't calling attention to it because of how I feel about the deal for me. And then the point that just while we're talking about it, the point in me following through with it instead of not doing it was to close the original loop on alcohol.
Dude.
To say, instead of overindulging, I'm going to apply it to this very specific circumstance, and it's not going to be one of those things that like, oh no, I can never do that again because I'll go full bore the other way. It was to do it, apply it to the deal, and be done with it.
That's what I was going to say. I view what you did with alcohol as like proving your fucking discipline. Like it was, you quit drinking before you decided to go on this journey.
Right.
And you were now introducing something that you had previously stopped for unrelated reasons. You decided to do it because it was disciplined into your ultimate goal. It was part of the discipline in your ultimate goal, not because you wanted to enjoy it. So to me, that's on a different fucking level. I just think it's funny that until July 1st, you've drank more recently than I have. So that's good stuff. But I can't imagine not drinking any water. I can't imagine what you went through in the fucking 48 hours before this competition to like not drink any water, to pump your body out with everything. And then they're like, and then you need to drink 2 glasses of red wine, probably tasted like garbage since you haven't drank in a year and a half. And then vodka in your coffee to just dehydrate the ever-loving shit out of you.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't imagine it, dude. That's brutal. Brutal. But anyway.
I mean, it's fun for me to know how far I can push.
The wrap-up sign.
Let's do some mother-licking Funkler Nuggets.
I mean, we got all kinds of shit to talk about with your fucking competition.
Let's go.
Man. Well, we went to the Florida State Natural Bodybuilding Competition, and Trevor was a competitor. We've talked about it on the show before. He was in multiple categories, and I have a lot of takeaways from this event.
Oh, my.
I will say, first of all, congratulations. You got second place in one of the heats. What was it? What was your second place? Victor?
I don't remember. Now I don't really remember.
Really?
I signed up for so many divisions that
it wasn't Masters.
No,
because there were the younger guys were in that heat with you at the time.
Yeah, I think it was novice.
Yeah, I think it was just novice B. I think was technically the name of the one. But you got second place, man. Up on stage, second place. You got fourth or fifth in one of the Masters ones.
Yeah.
So I mean, dude, great showing.
And the one that you got second, I was sitting next to Amanda. My sense was that he won the category.
I did too. I thought he won. I was sitting there. Yeah.
I thought you won that category. Although Amanda thought that you were the second place. She felt the other guy was more ripped or something. I don't know what you said. You gave me some.
No, I said that the guy
was
obviously
bigger.
Yes, he was larger in size. Like
you could
he
tell
used to
by
be big
his
at one
skin
point. He
that
had saggy skin.
Yeah.
And so he's done a lot of work on himself. So well done for him being awarded first place.
But my sense was that when I was looking at the two of you, because they did put the two of you together, there were 4 actually on that. If I remember, there was 4 of you, and you know, Amanda and I were kind of guessing who was going to be fourth and third, and then when second, I thought it was going to go that guy. I thought you had this one. I absolutely thought you had it. So I mean, there was, in my opinion, there was very little between it, but. So to me, that you won that first prize there. The other ones were challenging. You know, I could see that there was an obvious difference with the guy that was winning it. That young guy, for example.
Oh, I mean, that young guy's like,
oh my goodness me.
When you're in 19, like you're just out of control.
Yeah.
That fucking guy. Like you look at him and you just know. You know what I'm saying? It's just he's fucking.
But what was incredible was the kind of I understood there was an internal discipline that you went through for the last 18 months. What was so obvious when we watched this yesterday was that there was also an external manifestation that you presented. So there was an 18-month journey that you went on, huge amount of transformation, pain, tears, all of those things that you went on. A lot of it, to me, was internal, because you talked about it, but we couldn't see it on you, you know. Whereas yesterday, it became obvious as to the journey.
You could see it.
And it was there. It was in plain sight for us to see, which was pretty phenomenal. I've not seen transformation that I would say 90% of your transformation is actually internal. You know, you put your body through a lot of stuff. Your mind is different. The way you think, the way you act is all different. So that's all internal. But then we're able to see something present.
My takeaways, double bicep, I think, is your best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That to me, watching it. Another takeaway I have is that I was kind of shocked about when I first got there. I think I had missed one of your prejudgments, but I saw all the rest of them. And when I first saw you, and as it moved on, what I found amazing is that the definition of muscle got greater.
But my coach came back and told me I don't think I hit some
early on.
I don't think I hit. So before you go on, you get pumped up, but you also start tricking your system, and there is honey, salt, and grape juice involved.
Okay.
And then also nerves.
Mm-hmm.
And so going out on the first thing, I don't think I hit the intake early enough.
Got it.
And then with the nerves, it keeps your system kind of on lock. And then as the nerves lifted, you get more flow going through your body. And I also was able to pump, like my pump started to build through the next rounds of the prejudging, to where he came back and he's like, you're getting harder each consecutive round.
I could notice it too. I don't know anything about this process, but I fucking could notice.
I should have hit.
You were getting more defined as time went by.
I should have hit honey and salt like 20 minutes before I did.
Yeah, I just thought that was wild. I was like, damn, he's like it's wild that, I mean, you look great the first time, but as it continued to progress, it was just more and more defined, especially right here. Like it just was cutting more and more each time you came out. I was like, I see why they make them do it all day, is because they want to see the beginning and then what it looks like as you've worked through it.
Yeah.
Another takeaway, the women. So, The presenting pose is something that I found at first very awkward, and now, like, looking back, it's wild to me.
The little bun's out.
The bun. I mean, there's no other way for me to explain it. I think I'm accurately explaining when I say it's presentation, like presenting yourself to somebody. Like they turn, arch their back, lean forward, open their legs. Like it's, hey, here you go. Like presenting. I felt awkward fucking clapping. Like I felt like I'm clapping at an open fucking hole coming at me. 2 open holes, really, with the position, you know, and the muscles to break it off.
Yeah.
So I just, that shit was amazing to me. Men look really good doing this stuff. It ages women.
Sure.
It looks like it takes a fucking toll on their bodies to do this kind of shit. You know, there were a lot of masters, but there were a lot of younger girls doing it too. And you could just tell, I think it maybe the spray tan also, but it just seems like it's shocking their bodies and probably prematurely aging them. Because I noted, I was like, they all look older than they are. The men look good, like look virile when they're going through it. And their faces don't seem to change to me. Like the kids look like little kids in their faces. Their bodies look like Adonis, but their face look like children still. The women, it was like they look fucking old. They all just look old to me. So that was a takeaway that I had. The shoe, I talked to you about this briefly. So the women with their shoes, they got to go to a stripper store to buy those fucking shoes, right?
I don't know.
Like
I don't know much about the women's
They're wearing
stuff.
clear stilettos, like clear, tall stiletto heels.
So, you know, honestly, maybe I can shed some light. I do know that there are, when I went to go buy trunks for this, that there's whole industries based around specific bodybuilding stuff. So I'm sure that there's ladies that get inventive and buy shit from different places, but there's also straight up websites for this kind of gear.
Because I was like, I just picture the workers at the stripper store being like,
stripper or
bodybuilder?
Yeah.
And a lot of them to go, both would be also my guess. Because if you got a body like that and strength like that and the clothes already, why not go make some more money off of it? You know what I'm saying? And I know that if you do it right, if you're at the right stripping establishment, I mean, PR knows all of this.
Of course.
Because
he's a
regular. But if you're at the right stripping establishment and you have the right routine, it seems as though that's a fucking serious workout all on its own.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? One of the guys, I've told you, one of the guys there was fucking trolling. Like, I know it. Like, you say he was serious back there, but there was this overweight blonde kid that like you can be delusional all day, but when he looks in a mirror, there's no fucking way he thinks that he was on stage with you guys.
He was in the back looking in the mirror and acting like some of the big hardcore dudes, and the big hardcore guys would look over at him and just the look was like, who the fuck is this guy?
He has
he'd be
no
like,
definition
he'd be
whatsoever.
like, good look out there, bro. And they'd be like, yeah.
Dude, he's trolling you.
I don't know.
He comes out. So after everybody's songs are fucking like Spoon Man by Soundgarden was one of the songs. Somebody had somebody who wanted to be artistic did Nothing Else Matters by Metallica.
Yeah.
Like, so there was a Danzig. And then this guy comes out and it's fucking Cher, Do You Believe in Love? And he is not, there is no definition to this man's body. Like he's not a fucking sumo wrestler, but he's overweight. And there is no muscular definition whatsoever. Like when he flexes, does anything, you can't see definition. And that combined with the selection of Cher, Do You Believe in Love? I'm like, this guy is videotaping this and he is trolling you. And it's going to be on a fucking website somewhere making fun of this process because nothing else makes sense to me.
It didn't make sense in the back. I didn't think about the trolling part of it. And to a certain extent, he was obnoxious, annoying, and his interactions took away from the experience of being serious.
It should. Like, you guys should be back there, differing levels, which represent not only genetic differences, but the difference in work that you put in. And then there's the gray area in between. Like, sometimes the fucking Marlins beat the Yankees. Like, sometimes the team that's supposed to win doesn't win. That's part of the gray area. That's part of the fun. You should be back there worried about that and focused on that, not this fucking guy who I'm telling you was recording this shit and posting it on his fucking Facebook.
You have to pay for your music, whatever music you choose, and download it and give it to the DJ. I don't think everybody's going to
pay
put in that
$3 to download fucking Cher, Do You Believe in Love?
It's 10, but
so you think? Well, he had to buy a song of some kind.
No, they'll put house music on if you don't choose a song.
So maybe they fucked with him.
You think you think that DJ picked Cher, Do You Believe in Love? That makes me even happier.
I didn't consider that. That's pretty funny.
Because that DJ was legit. That's another takeaway I have. That guy, I bet you works at a strip club because he's too fucking good at what is like a live interactive DJ performance. That is different than being a DJ at a wedding. That's different than being a DJ at a nightclub. It's the only thing I can think of is something like trivia, where you're interactive with the people, the crowd. So I recognize what he's doing, and he was doing such a flawless fucking job at it. I was like, this guy has to practice this, and the only place you can constantly practice is at a fucking strip club, I think, where you're 3 steps ahead of what song you're going to go to, and at the same time you're still enjoying fucking spinning it and making it sound good. He was killer. So maybe he just trolled this guy with Cher, but I don't think so, man. I think this guy is making fun of the bodybuilding scenario. I think he probably videotaped it and it's out there somewhere with his fucking followers.
I think he's a special person. After a couple, I think he's just a little
frittata.
A little off his rocker,
right.
and
fair enough.
Delusions of grandeur.
Could be.
And
maybe his mom's favorite song was Cher.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right. I think I have dude trolling, Spoon Man. Yep. All right. Those are my fucking big takeaways.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for listening. Special thanks to not the Wizard of Ed.
I know, right?
We'll
dork.
Figure that out later. And a huge thanks to the Intuitive Muse.
Thanks for stepping in.
Please hit like and subscribe. Leave comments, questions, and requests. Connect with us on social media for adventures throughout the week.
See you in the promised land.
Wahoo Maguchi.